In the name of one God, Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. Amen. Sometimes it can feel as though we have all the time in the world. Plenty of time for friends and family. Plenty of time to take care of unfinished business. Time enough to get around to praying, giving, and forgiving. Until we don't. One of the hard truths of life that we often ignore and push from our minds is the fact that our lives are uncertain, fragile, and finite. In our church calendar, as we move from the Feast of All Saints towards the end of the church year and the beginning of Advent, we're encouraged to reflect on the limits of our human nature so that we live in such a way that we are prepared for what is to come. Today we heard Jesus' cautionary tale of the 10 bridesmaids. Some background on first century wedding customs can help us to sort out the plot. In Jesus' time, the bridegroom would go to the home of the bride on the day of the wedding. When he arrived, wedding guests and attendants would go out to meet him with torches, and all would follow the wedding party and the bride's family to the groom's family home, where the ceremony and the banquet would take place. In Jesus' parable, the groom is delayed, and 10 bridesmaids watch for his coming with their lamps lit. 5 of them are wiser than the others and have extra oil on hand in case the wait is longer than expected. When the time comes for action, the 5 foolish bridesmaids don't have enough and ask the others to give them some oil. The ones who were prepared tell them, "We don't have enough to share. You will need to go to the oil dealers and get your own." You see, all the bridesmaids knew what was going to happen. They knew that at some point they would be called upon to act. And so they all waited and watched. But waiting and watching was not enough. We do a lot of waiting and watching in our lives. We wait for the next thing to happen. We wait for healing, for justice, for peace, and we wait for God. But we aren't to spend our lives just waiting around. We're to prepare ourselves for all of these things. Today's parable comes in the middle of 3 other parables, each with a similar message. That God has the expectation that we will work together to bring God's light into the world. Following Jesus is not a passive endeavor. We have a part to play here. Jesus gave us this parable as a word of caution. We don't know what the future will bring us. We don't know when we might be called into action for the sake of the gospel. And we don't know when our lives will end. In order to meet the challenges of each step of our lives, we strengthen and equip ourselves with enough oil in our spiritual lamps. Because Jesus tells us, you do not know the day or the hour. We need to be prepared to endure the in-between times, the waiting times, the trying times, with enough oil in our lamps and some in reserve to see us through whatever darkness we encounter. Jesus urges us to be ready for the moment when we will be called to action, or when some response will be asked of us for the greater good. I have an example here today of the type of lamp used in the first century. I put it over on the shelf under the cross there. It's a simple thing. A bowl for the oil and a wick to light. But what kinds of things do we need to put into our spiritual lamps? With what do we put into our head and our hearts and into our souls so that our spirits can stay bright? We do well to fill our lamps daily with gratitude and joy, with the knowledge that God desires good things for us and will help us to resist despair or fear or indifference. We need to fill our lamp with the truth, with the facts about issues facing us. We need to fill our lamps with patience and perseverance, and for the determination to have those hard conversations we might have been avoiding. And especially we need to fill our lamps with love for God, our neighbors, and ourselves. We do all these things by God's grace through our spiritual practices, with prayer and meditation on Scripture, with self-care and acts of love and service. These are the things that we must do for ourselves. We can't do them for others, and others can't do them for us. Just as the bridesmaids were sent out to the dealers to buy their own oil, we must tend to our own souls. We can't live on the prayers of others. And other people cannot have a spiritual life for us. It's up to us to have our own relationship with God and to make our peace with our lives and with the people in our lives. Other people cannot serve for us, forgive for us, or live or love for us. Having thus prepared ourselves, we will be able to persevere when times are dark. We'll be able to act when the moment presents itself. We will hear the voice of God and respond with gladness. God's grace continually comes to meet us where we are. Let us keep watch with our lamps well lit. Amen.